Thick Thigh Thursday. And so we are talking about other people's opinions. How driven are you by other people's opinions? How often do you feel like the way others view you, the way you are perceived, how often do you feel like that really drives the things that I do? Um, And I put a poll in my story on Instagram. Which can you put polls and stories on TikTok yet? I don't know, because I'm a fake TikToker. Uh, but I asked, right? Do you feel like you take the opinions of your the people around you, your friends, your family, higher than like your opinion of yourself? And like a lot of people feel like, no, I don't think so. But then you realize like the things that you do that are based on what other people think, what other people are going to say about you when you do this, right? When you wear this, when you post this, right? Like the and I'm so happy to see like I got I appreciate that y'all are my people. Like I have somebody here, I sure don't. And Chris over here, not at all. And I listen, more power to you. I'm happy for you. And that's really like definitely part of the goal as far as this whole self-love journey and understanding like what it is that you actually want. Um, Living in your truth as far as, yes, speaking about how you feel. And allowing yourself to make decisions based on just yourself, based on you, what your goals are, how up until this point, how has that driven you, and what changes have you made, and what shifts in your perspective, in your experience, and whatever helped to mold you to be this version of yourself today, right? And is that where you want to be? Because that's really the question, right? Like, because maybe you're in a space where you're like, I do definitely care what these people think, and I'm cool with that. That's good for me. I'm set. And maybe you're cool with saying like, yes, no, I care what everyone thinks. I have an image to protect and this is how I want to present myself. That's fine too, right? Like you're allowed to live in this the way you want to. However, becomes a problem when you feel limited, right? Like when you feel limited by the things that you can do because of what this person will think or what this person will say, right? When you feel limited by those things, when you feel obstructed by those things, that creates this barrier in your circumstances, right? This makes you feel limited. This makes you feel obligated to act a certain way, live a certain way, buy certain clothes or shoes, or go out to these certain parties or places, drink these drinks that you don't even like. Um, like do the things that you don't want to do. Like, do you know how many, I will whole talk about myself. You know how many times I've smoked hookah? And I hate hookah. And I'll admit it, like, I don't want to do this. This is never entertaining for me. Like, you got something else back there? Whatever. I don't like it. But when you're out with people, it's like, oh, yeah. Well, I'll pass it, and I don't know why. But no, we really do know why, right? There's the peer pressure or like just the status quo, maintaining the status quo of your situation, right? This is what people are doing here right now. So yeah, I'm going to hit this. Don't do it. Anyway, I say all this to say, we are all in some ways driven by other people's opinions, at least to a tiny degree, right? And I'll say at the very least, it's the opinions of the people that raised you, right? So even if you feel like, no, I don't think this, and I'm not worried about anybody looking at me, that's because that's exactly how your parents acted. That's exactly how whoever raised you and you were around acted. And you got that from them. And who do you care about probably their opinion. And that was something that I spoke to. I had a coaching session with someone, a discovery call, so it was free, right? We were talking about what was going on and how she felt. And we had this discussion about whose opinion are you asking for, whose opinion are you caring about, and whose opinion are you allowing to stress you. And she said, like, well, it's these people in at work, right? So if the people at work are stressing you out and they're bothering you, do you really believe in everything the people at work believe in? Are you trying to hold yourself up to their standard? Like, do you think their standard of living is exactly how you would like to live? Are they doing it right and you're doing it wrong? Right? Because sometimes it feels that way when you feel the judgment of other folks, right? And she said, no, I would never want to be like them. I have no interest in like carrying myself this way or being perceived this way. I have no. So then why are we worried about their opinions? And and I don't mean to say that and make it sound so simple. Hey, right? Like I don't. Thank you for being here. I don't want to make it sound so simple that like, oh, just forget it. Don't worry about these people. But like, honestly, take the time to reflect and think about it for yourself. Who are the people in your life that actually value you? Actually value your time, your presence, your thoughts, your opinions, right? And like literally, like, okay, maybe it's my mama and my best friend. Wonderful. That's fine. If it is them, then they are the people that care about you being driven and being strong and making smart decisions and all those things. So if you were in your position, in whatever situation that is, if you take that now to work where you're feeling judged and you say, okay, if my mom and my sister had these jobs right here, this supervisor, this person over here, whoever, my coworker, whatever it is, my colleague, if they were trained and had the knowledge that they needed to have to be in this role, would they be satisfied with the job I did? Because they're people that push me. So they want me to do it well. And they're people that care about me. So they're going to say things in a nice way. They're going to be reasonable about it. They do deserve also a good service, in my opinion. So am I servicing them properly? Am I giving them what they needed in this position? And if you can judge those things and you can say that to yourself, like, well, yeah, I did all of that. I'm good. Then again, why are you taking this other person's opinion so harshly? They don't care about you. You don't want to be like them. You don't want to live up to their standards. You don't want to do any of those things. So why do you care? And why are you taking their opinion specifically about this thing that you did so personally and so rough, right? Like, you don't need to take these things to heart. So I asked my story on Instagram. So you can also, if you want to drop in a question, you can totally drop in a question in my Instagram story. Still, it's there. About the idea of other people's opinions and why it is that you feel such this heavy pull, or how did you overcome, right? Like, these are just, what is it about that process that's really getting to you? Before I check these questions, hey, hi everybody. I see people checking in. Hey, hello. Thank you for being here. Okay. There are some heavy answers here. Also, real quick, I also put a poll, and I said that initially. I put a poll in my story before I put the question box, and I said in that poll, like, how much do you feel driven by other people's opinions? And no one put 100%, which made me feel good. Like, at least you feel like you've gotten some control of your opinions, of the way you react to other people's opinions, at least, right? And then, but there was also only one person that said, not at all. I'm like, I don't care about anybody's opinion, not even my mama. I'm done. That was also only one person. And then everybody else was really in between. Like, yeah, a lot, more than I want to, or like somewhat, but I'm okay. It's a place to be right in the middle. So that was just something for me to think about. That poll is going to be up till tonight sometime. You can also participate there. So, okay. This is a good one. I feel weird when I like stuff that other people don't. Judged all the time. Right? And that's definitely a place to be. That's like a thought process that we have. If it's like you do not like the things that people around you like, you feel as if you're wrong, especially if most people like it. Right? We're used to the crowd decision in a lot of situations. So when the crowd goes this way and you go against the crowd, you feel like the weird person. And then unfortunately, the way this works, people will support whatever is popular, even if it's not good, right? Because it's popular. That's just how it works, right? This is the one people like for whatever reason. It's just more popular. So I sometimes that you receive that negative feedback, the negative attention, the weirdness, the judged, you feeling judged. It really is like a pain point, right? You don't feel comfortable continuing in the space that you're in. You don't feel comfortable going through this. And so you hide it. And then this is where we get more recluse, right? We get into ourselves. And then the cycle kind of repeats itself in that, because now you've drifted off to be yourself and be weird. And now you're weirder in more situations. And I will say that if you feel weird in some situations, that's just like most people, to be quite honest, right? A lot of people feel weird in at least some situations. If you always feel weird, I need you to find other friends. I think now that the internet is so much of a thing, right? Like if you grew up before the internet, like me, an ancient person, right? The point in time where the people you knew had to live by you. They had to be in your class, they had to be neighbors, whatever. Right now, you really know people. Like you got a friend that you ain't never gonna meet in person, or maybe one day you will on a trip, right? But like it's gonna be crazy if you do. You have a friend like that. Most likely, a lot of people do. That's just how it has worked out. Now that we have so much internet. Here, and that's exactly what I was talking about right here. Social media makes it seem like all the girls have blank, and you're weird if you don't. I absolutely feel that. And that is exactly what social media and media, I'll say, especially like commercial media, that's what it's built to do. I'm not saying it's good, but I am saying that's how the machine works, right? You're going to create this idea that this is what we all do. This is what we all look like. This is what we all have. And then like literally you and your friends that you know in real life are nothing like that. And you're still somehow convinced that you should be like that. What? And we do this all the time. We do this constantly. It doesn't make any sense. But we do it. We do it all the time. We take it, we accept it. Like, yeah, so everybody has these now. And so I gotta get them. Who is everybody? They made a commercial. It's not everybody. Now, if it's something that does prove to be better, prove to be stronger, prove to be, I don't know, higher quality, fine. Absolutely fine. Okay. But if it's just the sake of like spending money, which that's what we do as a society, right? You don't need it. You don't need that because you didn't need it yesterday, right? Now, on the other side of that, if you want it, I'm always a treat yourself as long as you're allowed to treat yourself kind of person. As in, all your bills paid, girl, go for it. That's fine. But do you need to go after it and be exactly that? No. Nope. Oops. Okay. Let me close that first. Ooh. Okay. Teenage bullies, right? So the question is, why do you feel so bound to other people's opinions, right? And so the need to fit into other people's opinions, whatever box that may be, right? And so this person said teenage bullies. And teenage bullies, but I'm 34. So you've almost been out of high school as long ago as high school was. And still, right? Like you're feeling like I still feel like I need to fit in because of that trauma, right? That's what it is. That is trauma that is, I would say repressed, but I can't even say repressed if it's happening and you acknowledge exactly what it's from, right? It's just trauma. It's acknowledging like, I have to heal from this. A therapist trick that I learned is just kind of evaluating the situation that you are fearful of, right? To say exactly what it is you are scared of, right? So in this situation, I am scared of teenage bullies, right? So right now in your life, when are you going to be in a situation where you could easily be bullied by a group of random teenagers? Now, if you happen to have like a set of children that are in that age range, then yeah, it's far more likely, but you're also their mom. So you probably got it. You know how they do. Whatever. But it's so unlikely that that's going to happen to you as a grown adult. Like, are you going to play at the park regularly? Because then, okay, yeah, you're increasing your chances. But like, it's a thing that like when you were a teenager in high school every day with the same children that bullied you, yes. What is the likelihood that you're going to see the same girl that bullied you yesterday? Like almost 100%, unless she gets sick today or something, right? Which is why a lot of kids that get bullied fake sick so they don't have to go to school and blah 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 blah, right? And so I get it. But like, what is the likelihood that that's going to happen? You are grown now, right? And I don't say any of this to say it as a judgment. I am letting you know it's okay, right? Like it is a safe space for you to say like, I am this. I am never going to be in high school and bullied again. Because you won't. Like, what's going to happen in your life that you got to go back to high school right now? And that's it, right? Like, that's just it. You are not like, it's a concern, but like we have to acknowledge when it's like a crazy concern, right? Why are we amping up the situation to be so insane that we are allowing ourselves to live in a bubble? You're just stopping yourself. You're just blocking yourself. Oh, this is a tough one. Okay, and this is a personal one. So also, I apologize if any of these situations are triggering. Let's talk about it in our coaching session. Come to our website. Okay, I'm always compared to my sister, and I love her, but my family makes me also hate her. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. I have two other sisters, but I grew up as an only child. So I have a very weird relationship with this idea. But it is a common thing, and I've spoken about this with my friends that also have siblings, right? It's the comparison, and it sucks, especially when you live in the house with this person, right? You feel compared over and over again every day. Every time this person like receives a compliment, you might feel like, oh, why? Right? And like sometimes it's a real thing where you are unfortunately treated a certain way for whatever reason. Like you're treated this way because you look more like your dad. Sorry. And like how? We would never know that's the reason, right? Or like maybe you do and you just find out and you have to deal with that. Right? You're treated better because you were the firstborn, or more poorly because you're the firstborn and they didn't know what they were doing at that point in time. And then there's like others that they've had more trials and errors, right? And like it's easier for them, all that stuff, right? Like this resentment that you get from dealing with your family. Those things, those judgments are so hard to get over, but it is again something that it's trauma. It is learned. I almost always believe that at least communication between the siblings is important in a situation like that, because like your parents may never see it, and like they might, They might, especially if they're confronted by somebody else or by both of you together or all of you together, depending on how many there are of you. But still, they might not. But if you, as your siblings, can get to a place where you can speak about it, where you can be clear and like have honest and fruitful conversation about it, it will be an amazing growth point as far as you coming together. Caribbean parents, a lot of sweaty faces. I hear that, and like I have there's more parent ones too, I think. There's another parent one. This one too. I guess from a young age we learn to please others, like parents, right? So we learn to please people. We learn to be pleasers. We learn to follow what our parents want for us. And that's why I say, like, even if you feel like, nah, I don't care about what anybody thinks. If they raised you, they taught you to be a certain way, right? This is your judgment. This is where your judgments come from. So that is a big that is a big thing. That is a huge factor there. Even if you're like, nah, not today. I don't care about it at all. Like, you still are the result of these things, right? And there's another people pleasing one. Yes, I'm definitely a people pleaser and a perfectionist. So I'm always jumping to do for others, right? So this people pleasing that we learn from pleasing our parents and from our parents being people pleasers, we learn to be like this. We learn to try and make sure other people like us, make sure we're doing right by others and what they want and what's good for them, and that they are having a good time in my presence. They are so important. They are paramount. And then if you do that enough, you just lose where you are. You just lose what it is that you want. You lose that connection to where it is you actually wanted to go. And then you end up lost. Hey. And like it's a hard place to be, because when you realize that you have pleased your way out of your own personality, that's when depression hits. And you're like, I hate everything I do. That's why. And here's one. Okay. I literally don't even know. I hate it. Like, that's it. I don't know why. I just want to please people. I hate it. Well, so if you're coming in right now, I'm going to post this in my IGTV, but if you're coming in right now, you can go back to the multiple lists of reasons why this could be, why this might be who you are and how you operate and how your brain works, right? You're just so trained, and so it's so ingrained in you to make sure that you like me. Make sure that you like me. Make sure people like you, right? Make sure that you are doing things the way normal people do, whatever normal is, right? And I think like the difference between like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, like those are the very different avenues of social media. We have seen more and more into people's lives to say, oh, okay, no, this is real life. They really live like this. Like, people live like me. I'm not crazy like that. I mean, or we're all crazy, but then that doesn't make sense. You know, we've been allowed so much into people's homes and lives and the way they process things and their thoughts and the stream of consciousness, all of that stuff. We have made so much of a connection into that it's like, oh, wait, there are others that act like me and think like me and sound like me too. So all this time you spend judging yourself by the people's opinions around you just because they were different from yours. Now we get the chance to see like, oh, but I mean, they were different from these people's, but they weren't different from like everybody's. It wasn't always a problem. I'm not always wrong. This is not always me. Because I swear, you just convince yourself. You convince yourself that it's always you, that it's me. I'm the problem. I'm doing this wrong. I do not think the way other people think. It's me. And like, it's not you. Everybody feels somewhat like this in a certain capacity. That's just how it works. And it sucks. But that's just how it works. Okay. I have a comment here on TikTok. I feel like a lot of my lack of confidence comes from feeling like I'll never be loved in this body. So that is it. And this is a thank you for saying this, because this is one of those things that we have already built into my coaching program that's starting in September 15th. Come to my website, sign up. Loving your body, accepting your body, understanding what your body should be doing is a huge thing, is a huge factor, is a place that we have our own trauma and our own judgment and our own like icks about. And understand that everybody that you've already met wasn't necessarily the person that needed to love your body the way it needs to be loved. That doesn't mean that that person doesn't exist, right? If we think about what it is that we want, what it is that we're looking for, we need to actually accept and love it for ourselves, right? So if you are hating your body, you're constantly down about your body, you're only going to attract people that are down about your body as well. And will treat you as such, because that doesn't mean that they'll leave you alone. We'd like to believe like, so just leave me alone. No, unfortunately, somehow that's not the thing. They just want you to change, or they just want to bother you up into it. I don't know why. I've never been on that side of it, I don't think. At least not in that sense. But I do feel like it's just a matter of saying, like, if I don't like my body, if I'm uncomfortable with it, and this is what I'm presenting, I'm only presenting myself as this. So somebody who is attracted to me being uncomfortable with my body is going to come to me. And you don't want that. So finding the comfort in yourself, finding that the space where you can say, okay, yes, I am treating my body the way it should be treated. I am moving, I am eating, I am actually breathing, I am resting, right? These things, I'm taking care of myself, and I know, so I am a great version of myself. So anybody that's trying to love me needs to make the version of myself that I am even better. Love me even more than I'm loving on myself, right? And so these are the kind of things that I talk through with people. What it is that you need to make sure that you are providing, what it is that you are looking for yourself, like love, your self-love out of yourself, and what you're looking for when that person comes to you, when someone is attracted to you or approaches you, when you're like, all right, so there's a standard here. You have to love me like this because I love me like this. You can't be down here. Doesn't make sense. You're not making me better. And so, like I said, that is one of the weeks. That's one of the topics in the coaching program. So if you want to know more about that, go to our website, sign up for a free discovery call to find out if it's the right fit for you. And then here I have one, and I'm going to close it out with this one because I don't want to hear people complain. I care about what people think and doing what people expect is fitting into their boxes because I don't want to hear people complain. Now, I feel you, right? I feel you. I get it. And what I'll say is sometimes that just makes sense. It depends on the situation. If you are sacrificing yourself, this is such a pain for you. It hurts you. You are limited. You are taking away from who you are as a person. You are not allowed to fully represent yourself as who you are by doing this. I don't suggest it. Like, let them complain. Because if they really wanted it to be the way they wanted that bad, they needed to do it themselves. But at the same time, if you're telling me that your grandma likes this type of tissue and not this type of tissue, and you just go out of your way to make sure your grandma has that kind of tissue because blah, 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 then that's fine. Make grandma happy. I'm always going to be team grandma. You know, like there's times if it's not about sacrificing yourself as a person, it's okay. Make the adjustment to make your life easier. You also deserve ease. What will make your life easier to deal with in the long run? But that's the thing. Pay attention to the long run. Because if it's not going to make your life easier in the long run, you're going to be running around like a chicken because of this judgment and this person that forces you to do this because you allowed it. Nope. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be helpful for you. And in the long run, you will be tired of that shit. So don't do it. And that's it. Those are all the questions that I have in there. I did put an open invitation. It is in my story. I know people are interested and have a few questions about coaching and just wanting to see what that is. So if you are interested in a quick live interaction, I'm planning them out. So please make sure you answer the questions in my story on Instagram, or you can reply to my story on TikTok or comment or whatever, and I'll reach out to you. I'll send you some information. And it's just to schedule you in a quick chat so you can see what this is like when I interact with people, what the style is like, because I want you to understand what it is that I'm asking you to do and what I am providing as well. And maybe that's not your deal and you want to come to yoga. The last beach session is tomorrow night. I'm excited. Rockaway Beach. If you can be here, sign up on my website. And if not, and you are not in New York City, come to a virtual class. I'll see you online Saturday afternoon. Saturday night afternoon Eastern, but it's morning if you are on the opposite coast. Okay. Or anywhere else, feel free. If it works for you, it works for me. I love you all greatly. This is going on my IGTV and on my YouTube channel, so you can watch it back. And I think that is all the things that I have to say. ThickThighYoga.com. I will see you soon.